Your Excellency, Deputy Prime Minister Kubat Talabani, the Rappăڕin Independent Administration Head, Hiwa Karani, colleagues, friends. First, I want to thank the Rappăڕin Regional Development Agency for the invitation to address you, and of course to congratulate you and the Foundation on what I hope is a landmark day and a chance to reflect on the hard work that we've done together to get us to this point. And I thought I might structure my remarks today around three main areas that have led me as the UK's representative to be here today. The first is actually I want to pay tribute to the leadership of both the Deputy Prime Minister and the heads of the Rappăڕin Independent Administration. It's certainly been important in creating this partnership that we've got together with the UK. And if they'll permit me, I'll tell you about two of the conversations I had with each of them that left a really big impression on me. Now, I first came to Rania a couple of years ago in 2024. And as part of that, I had useful and informative discussions with the administrator, with Kakiwa. And a lot of what we talked about was this idea of hope, essentially, and the kind of things that we might do together to renew the Rappăڕin area. But Kakiwa also held me to account quite gently. He sort of noted that until that point, the UK had made lots of visits, but without necessarily visibly following through on project work that we were doing together. And he pushed me quite hard to change that, suggesting ideas. And I'm not sure then that he realized that I quite like to be challenged. The second conversation was one I remember having with the Deputy Prime Minister early one evening after he had just finished the election campaigns for the regional elections. And he'd made, I think, near daily visits to this place and all across the region, the Rappăڕin area rather. And he told me a lot about what he'd seen, and it had quite a profound impact on me ultimately, particularly the sort of untapped potential that there is here, and the situation and the barriers that are in place that are contributing to that. So that really adds to the ambition as well. That brings me to my second main theme, which is the potential of this place, the potential of Rappăڕin. I think the Deputy Prime Minister has spoken in some detail about that just now, so I won't repeat it all. But I will say that I came first to the Kurdistan region 7 years ago now. And back then I was coming as a visitor, and I was really spending time in Erbil, in Duhok, a bit in Sully as well. And I had a certain impression of the Kurdistan region at that point, development ultimately, foresighted, something that was really, paying attention to the youth and to the future. But of course, now that I live here, now that I've seen the whole of the region, now that I've seen the other areas, I note that there's a story of uneven development ultimately, and there's a number of reasons for that. And when I've come here, and when I've spoken to the youth here, it's clear that there's an overwhelming feeling that people are being held back by economic and social reasons and challenges, which we need to tackle strategically, which we need to tackle holistically. And I think that was the philosophy of the Foundation in the creation of the Rappăڕin Regional Development Agency. Certainly that's our philosophy in the UK. At its heart, we want it to be a mechanism to stimulate growth and to support the creation of jobs. So the UK has committed over $1 million funding throughout the last year to allow for the establishment of this agency, to put the right architecture in place, to allow it to create a development strategy and a plan for Rappăڕin, and really to lay the groundwork for future things like microfinance. And we hope that this agency can in time be seen as a model for the region, a way to attract public and private financing, to spend it in innovative ways and to aid development. And more than anything, that it can play a part in ensuring that the region's economy make it an easy decision to set up a business here for the people of the region to thrive here. Which brings me on to my third main theme. The Rappăڕin area in particular has suffered from outgoing migration, particularly of young males, and that causes harm to these individuals. They have a justifiable desire to better their lives, but that makes them vulnerable to exploitation and to criminals. They're being sold a myth about an easy and safe journey. It's not, it's difficult, it's dangerous. just in the media yesterday, we heard about some youths in Libya who'd been kidnapped. And then those that choose to try and make it to the UK, when they get there, if they get there, having entered illegally, the reality is hard life. It's a hard life of further exploitation and further vulnerability. And it's not just about the individuals, it causes harm to this area. It loses workers and it loses capital. The data I have at the moment suggests that families of people that are trying to migrate are still paying up to $20,000. And that's money that could have been spent by them in other ways. The difficult route, the changes that are being made in the UK to our systems, particularly to hasten returns, means that in all likelihood, the people that leave this area will end up coming back. But the money that their families have spent will be lost into the smuggling networks. So what we want to do is to find ways to use that capital in a better way. It's a cycle that simply has to be broken. And we're seeking to do that through a broad package of support to the Kurdistan region, mainly to protect Kurdish lives, but also to protect people from exploitation. The UK has worked with France, with communities, through religious leaders and educators to highlight the risks of irregular migration. We're working to counter disinformation spread by criminal gangs, to inform them and to tell the real stories of those who have fallen victims to people smugglers. And we're working really closely with law enforcement agencies across the KRI to protect communities here in the region. But of course we recognise that when people are making difficult decisions about their own lives, the lives of their children, that they often return to this fundamental question of hope. And that's always the question that guides my thinking on these issues. So the UK is really proud to have supported the establishment of the Rappureen Regional Development Agency. We hope that it will make a genuine difference, support a different future for the people of Rappureen, and the story here becomes one of sustained economic growth. I want to finish by thanking again Deputy Prime Minister, his team, in particular Kak Safin, who's been tireless all the way through this. Thank my own team in the consulate, Leal and others. Thank, of course, the independent administration and also our implementers, Adam Smith International. Thank you.